Hi, welcome to the next episode of Behind the Business podcast. I'm Stuart Cave, powered by EXP, and today I'm joined with Kathryn from the Mug Tree.
Hi, thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming down, thanks for joining me. And why don't we just talk a bit about yourself and the business right now, how long you've been here for, why you're doing, and a bit about, your passion about starting this wonderful independent cafe.
So I'm Kathryn and I own the Mug Tree Tea Room in East Grinstead. We've been here almost 8 years now, just tucked around the corner of the High Street. We started in Christmas 2014. Just wanted to bring like a really cosy, family-friendly, relaxed dining place to the town that did a lot less formal food, afternoon teas, cream teas, and homemade loose leaf teas, really well-made coffee, and all those sorts of things.
Fantastic. And one thing that's really great about this place, which I've experienced personally, is I can bring my children down here and they can just play freely. They can make some noise and there's no one's really bothered about it.
Yeah, no judgment. You can bring your kids, newborn babies, they can cry, you can breastfeed, you can make a mess, you can make a noise. Nobody really minds in here. We don't mind.
That's brilliant. I think it's just like that comfortable environment of knowing that it's so relaxed.
Yeah.
Just adds for that experience.
It's hard taking your kids out, especially when they're little and they're in the toddler phase and they're determined and demanding and they're noisy. We all know what it's like trying to take them out. You think everybody's looking, but it's not like that in here. It's much more relaxed.
At first, I was slightly apprehensive of, going out and are my kids going to, make a massive disturbance in the supermarket or in a cafe or whatever. But then I realized, my children are just as part of this society and this culture as anybody else, so they have a place.
Exactly, and they definitely do. And when we first opened, the town, it had its chain coffee shops and it had its nice little bistro cafes and restaurants, but it didn't really have anywhere tailored for families and for kids. And we didn't even set out to be that place. We didn't set out to be like a kids family-friendly place. We just wanted to be a tea room that was there. We thought we'd get, your elderly customers, your middle-aged, your younger, your children. So we had a very mixed, broad menu and offering for everyone. But it just kind of organically evolved the more that we were open into, there aren't many places where you could take your kids comfortably and sit and relax and feel like you didn't have to hurry up and go. You can make a lot of noise, you can make a mess. And then we tailored a very, very good kids menu, really good portion sizes on plastic plates, plastic cutlery, just kid friendly, so that you know that what you're going to order for your kids is good value for money. They're going to eat it. It's just kind of organically evolved from that, really.
The unicorn sandwiches are a particular favourite in our household.
And unicorns and dinosaurs, they're the popular ones. Yeah.
So when you first started the business, what was you just mentioned briefly about how it evolved organically, but what was your initial aspiration here? What was the vision? Because obviously 2014 was a different time altogether.
It was a different time, a long time ago now. So I've always been one who likes to kind of go out, sit in a coffee shop, people watch, you go to the Parisian cafes in Paris, you sit on the streets, you have a coffee, you watch people. And I like to go out for afternoon tea. I've always just liked to do that. And then we moved down to here and I was having a bit of a career change and thought I've always been interested in baking and, food and cakes and afternoon teas. And I learned a lot of that from my lovely dad. So we thought, why not branch out and have a go at doing our own little venue? Because we'd go out for afternoon tea and you'd kind of like critique them. You'd think, well, I liked that, but they could have done this, or I liked that, but they didn't have that. So we were like, let's do it ourselves and do it what we think is the right way to do afternoon tea. So we kind of started with afternoon tea as our vision, freshly homemade cream teas, scones, loads of clotted cream, jam, sandwiches, all those really nice treat things. But then we obviously understood that people don't go out for afternoon tea every day. So we then needed to have, the menu alongside that. So we had toasties and sandwiches. So we were aiming just to be a nice, friendly, welcoming cafe. A bit like when you come in here and you meet me or you meet my husband, it's a bit like an extension of our living room. So it's very much like this is an extension of our home. Come in, have a chat. Like we get to know so many people. We've made so many friends from being here, and just the people that we meet is just great.
Yeah, I mean, I came in yesterday for a hot chocolate, and what was 15-20 minutes of a hot chocolate turned into 45 minutes conversation, just a good conversation.
And, everything, And that's what we get. And I think that's the best thing about here is we get a lot of comments from mums with children, especially mums with new babies, who it's, you know, you come home from hospital with this tiny little baby, here you go, keep this baby alive. And then your husbands or your partners go back to work after 2 weeks, and that's it, that's you there at home with this tiny little human. And the best thing that I've always said to new mums is get out, just go out for a walk. But it's really daunting, because have I got enough of this, and have I got enough of that, and have I remembered this, and are they warm enough, cool enough?
It becomes this
are they tired? Are they, you know, it's like a military movement just to get out of the house. And what's been nice is we've become known as the place to go when you're that mum at home with that baby and you want to try and go out for the first time. People know that they can come here because it's welcoming, we'll help you in, we've got high chairs, we've got baby weighing scales, we've got, you know, kid-friendly menus. You can just sit with a cup of tea in the corner with a crying baby, and no one's going to mind.
Brilliant.
If you need to go to the toilet, give me the baby. You know, I love babies. We're just that kind of a nurturing environment, that's what we wanted.
That's fantastic. So taking that through from when you first started, going through the pandemic, which we'll touch on for the work that you did there, but also to 2022 now, and everyone's coming out of the pandemic. What's your vision for not just your tea room here, because this is a tea room in East Grinstead? What's your vision for that environment here?
So it's difficult, because obviously the pandemic just turned everything on its head, and retail and hospitality are a whole different ballgame now. And I think we're all still finding our feet and still finding our way through to see what that new hospitality and retail industry looks like. And the biggest challenge at the moment is getting people back through the door, because people are very used to staying at home, hosting things at home, having food delivered at home. You know, you've got Uber Eats, Deliveroo, everything now that kind of exploded during lockdown.
Exactly.
And us as well, we were delivering during lockdown, but it's shifted now. So it's, what can we do to get people back out? Is it that people still don't feel quite confident because of COVID, or have people kind of forgotten about COVID now, but they're just used to being at home? It's that mix of trying to find out what is the new normal for everybody, and then navigating that through with a cost of living crisis and an energy hike and all of those things. It's difficult.
It's going to be tricky, and I think it's going to come back to, and even for the high street as a general thing, they're going to need to innovate. They can't just come back in as a clothes shop, or as a tea room, for example. Like here, it has to be that innovation.
I mean, the high streets are always changing anyway. In the 8 years that we've been here, we've seen the high street here turn over different businesses, different industries all the time. You know, you have phases where you've got lots of empty shop units, and then all of a sudden you've got lots of full shop units, and there's always a cycle in it. So it's just finding out how it's going to go this time. But you definitely have got to think more on your feet, you've got to diversify, and you've just got to respond. No, people want different things, and they want things quickly, and they want things now. So it's all about just rolling with it and responding to what people want really quickly. So you've really got to be on it. It's like, what do people want now, this week?
Just maintaining your core business and what you do really well, and then, as you say, find that time to
branch out,
do those things.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So taking East Grinstead, which is one of a kind, it's a unique animal in terms of its community, its culture, and how people respond, and how we all get involved. With the Mug Tree, you've been involved in a few community projects in the past. How has that been part of, I guess, furthering your roots into the community, but also getting people involved in being here as well?
Yeah, so when we opened, we were really, really well received. Everyone was really supportive. Everybody came in, you know, they came in, they tried us out, they gave us really good feedback, and it was just really lovely. So we instantly felt very grateful for being here and for the support, and we wanted to give back straight away. And I love working with people. You know, I've got a background in teaching and special educational needs. So I like to be around people, I like to work with people anyway. And I'm very good at reading people and what people need. So we started off here by using the venue as a hub for young adults with special needs. So we worked with Sussex Oakleaf, and they would bring small groups of young adults in. They'd sit and play games or do quizzes, but it was a chance for them, as, you know, almost independent adults, to practice going into somewhere, speaking to a stranger, ordering for themselves.
Just getting comfortable in those
so the
environments.
chaperones were really encouraging them, go and order for yourself, choose what you want, speak up clearly. And we would be really receptive, very patient and wait and, coax them into ordering independently without just interrupting them and taking over, which is quite easy to do that when someone, what someone's saying, you just say it for them. So that's how we kind of started, and that worked really, really well. We had, the group would come in once or twice a week, and then some of them would start to come in more independently on their own, or two of them would come together. Yeah, so that was really lovely, and we felt then that, we can do good things here. We've got a nice venue. We're very, personable people. And then I had a baby and realised how quite breastfeeding unfriendly the town was at first. Not to say that venues weren't welcoming of it, but you just didn't know, where could you go, where can't you go? And when it's your first baby, it is like it's a military operation to get out. But then when you've got to feed that baby in the middle of nowhere, it's very daunting. So we instantly were like, come here. And it started off, we had a mum, she was walking past, she was a young mum, she had a buggy, she was crying, the baby was screaming, and she stopped at one of our chairs outside and she just sat down. And I went out and I said, can I get you a drink, or would you like a menu? And she started crying even more. And she said, I just needed to sit down. And obviously you've then got that panic of, I have to buy from this business because I'm using their chair. And I said, it's fine, you sit there, I'll get you a cup of tea and a glass of water and you can just sit. And she said, oh, but I haven't got my purse. And I said, it's fine, it doesn't matter. So, we gifted her a mug of tea and she sat. And I said, look, it's starting to get dark. Why don't you come inside, feed the baby, let's have a chat, And it was just all kind of like distracting her and pulling her out of that kind of meltdown phase that she was in. Let's sort the baby out, get the baby happy, get you comfortable. And she left smiling. And that was the biggest thing. And it was a bit like, let's reach out to the community and let mums know, if you're in town and you need to stop, don't feel obliged to come and spend £30 ordering food. Just come in, sit down, and we'll help you out. We'll give you a quiet corner. We'll leave you alone, or we'll chat to you, whatever it was you wanted. And it grew from there, really. And we started to get more mums coming in and, more breastfeeding mums. And everyone was talking about how great it was. And then our customers nominated us for Lansonow's Feed with Confidence Award back in 2018. And back then it was done by area. So you would vote for a venue and they would pull all the votes for all the venues for the town or the city. And then when they released the award winners, it was London was first as a town, as a city. And then I think it was Birmingham, and then it was Hull, and then East Grinstead as a town was fourth in the UK for breastfeeding friendly area.
That's quite the accolade, isn't it?
Yeah, so go down to East Court because there's a little trophy in their cabinet for being fourth in the UK. Yeah, but then we were contacted by them in 2019 for the second set of awards, because that was the inaugural year. And then the second set of awards, they said that they changed it slightly, and they explained to us that East Grinstead came fourth, but that 98% of the votes were for us. So I know, a bit blown away. So they said, we've changed it slightly now, and we're actually doing an award for a venue. So get your name out there again, ask your customers to vote for you, and we'll see where the awards go this year. And we won. So yeah, we were the UK's best breastfeeding venue in 2019 to 20. And it still kind of stands now, because obviously 2020, we had the pandemic, so they stopped the awards, and they've just relaunched them this year. So it'll be interesting to see who wins this year. Yeah.
So final few questions here is, you've clearly started a business, you've had to think on your feet, learn as you went along. What are some of the insights that you could share about starting a business, specifically in, I guess, in your demographic, your trade, that would help someone else? What are some of the
It's all about planning, really. I mean, you can't jump into these things quickly, and sometimes it's good to have an impulse and an idea and to go with it, but there was a lot of planning that went into this. I mean, we were searching for a venue for over a year, and we had one, and then we turned it down, and then we had another one, and we turned it because they just weren't quite right. And we wanted one in East Grinstead, but there were no shop units available when we were looking. And this one happened to come up right as we were almost giving up hope of finding one. And then this one became available, and we came, and instantly we just knew. So there's a lot of follow your instincts there.
Yeah.
Like, don't rush into decisions. Do your research, do your planning, but mainly follow your instincts, because you do you know your business, you know your vision, and you know what you want to do. And you'll get a lot of people going, well, have you thought about this? And, oh, why don't you try this? And, oh, I think it would be better if you did this. But actually, it's your instincts that are the most important thing, and that you listen to your voice rather than everybody else's. And it's lovely that people want to give their opinion and they want to help and they, you know, try this. But it can be quite suffocating to get so many different opinions and so many ideas when you're just trying to drive out what you first wanted. So stick to your instincts and stick to your vision, because like we've said before, it does grow organically and you just evolve and you roll with what happens.
Fantastic. Well, Kathryn, thank you so much for your time and hospitality.
Thank you for having me.
And all the best for the coming weeks and months.
Thank you very much.